Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Hello. I'm going to say hello to Vanessa and Carol. Nice to have you join us today for Thirsty Thursday. This is, of course, the Daily Dish Show, and I am so delighted to have you here. We are living our lives, and we're striving, in any way, to live our lives in full bloom. Do you like this sign? Does that just make your heart sing? Yeah, those of you who are going to be coming for full bloom will see this, because I'm going to do a little tour of my little office and what have you, so that's going to be fun. We always have a number of announcements, and we have condensed them all and put them on a page for you. You can find them at savingdinner.com/announcements. All the announcements are there. And I am here live for you here on Facebook. I'm live for you here on YouTube. And I'm also live on TikTok. Welcome. So I just want to invite you all to comment, say hello, tell me where you're from, whatever you want to say. It's just always lovely to have everyone here. Am I right? This is how we go together as a community. Yes, and I do want to say, don't forget, Full Bloom is coming. That is happening, and savingdinner.com/bloom. You can get all the details there. It is coming next month, and we're excited about that. Alice, Deborah, hello. It's nice to have you here. Cindy just joined me from TikTok. Good to have you here, Cindy. Glad to have you. We've got a few other people joining us. Isn't it fun when everybody gets together? Darla, we haven't seen you in a long time. Jane, it's good to have you. Deborah, you too. Well, as you know, we are speaking today about being in full vibe. But meanwhile, if you need the announcements, don't forget, you can go to savingdinner.com/announcements, where you will find the supplement of the week. By the way, it is the multivitamin. We got a really screaming deal on that. That's on that page. All the information about Full Bloom and everything else that your little heart's desires. I promise you, it's all right there. Anyway, that's how you're going to find that. So just welcome, everyone, and I'm glad you're here. Jane, Cornelia, it's been a minute. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about what this whole subject matter here. I've got my notes in front of me about living your life in high vibe, because if we are going to be living our lives in high vibe, and remember, everything is vibration. Everything is a vibration. It's measurable. They have instruments that can measure that. Anything from these earbuds all the way to your little toe, everything has its own vibrational energy, which is kind of a bizarre thing, but that's what it is. Energy has a vibe, and so do we. We all have a vibe. And Einstein said everything in life is vibration. Everything is. I love that. I think that's such an, amazing thing to say. Well, of course it is. Everything is a vibration. But have you ever noticed that when you're tired and when you're down and when you're feeling just kind of, a little dark, that everything feels really low vibe? Have you noticed that? Everything, pessimism, depression, sadness, all of that, definitely all low vibe. But the fruit of having a low vibe deal going on is that we also have low energy, anger, jealousy, bitterness. Ugh, does this list kind of gag you? It does me. Guilt, blame, and shame. That's all part of it. And if you remember from the newsletter that we have, you can get your newsletter at savingdinner.com at any time, and you can get today's show notes in tomorrow morning's newsletter. So in this week's newsletter, we showed a chart where it showed our emotions and how they're tiered with the different vibrations. So at the very top, for example, of feeling really high vibe would be the emotion of being empathetic, versus very low vibe, it would be jealous, envy, anger, all of that stuff. So we can see that, and we want the higher the vibration, the more love, the more empathy, the more open, the more curious, all kinds of things happen. Possibility is up there as well. And being closed-minded is way down there on that low vibe plane. So it's an interesting chart. This is not something that I made up. This was from a psychologist who came up with this a few years ago. I believe his last name is Hawkins. David Hawkins, I think is his name. And it's a fascinating chart. And he has it all color-coded and everything. And again, it's in the newsletter. If you haven't gotten it, you can send an email to support@savingdinner.com. We'll send that off to you. Okay, is that a deal? Pinkies up. So if we want to get out of this darkness that I'm talking about, this low vibrational stuff, we first have to acknowledge it and make a new decision about what it is that we want. Because when we are aware of the fact that this is indeed a choice, even if it's only by default, that's still a choice, then we have the ability to make that shift and make that change if we so desire. Because if we're working off of the prefrontal cortex, this is the moneymaker right here. This is where we do all the thinking. This is the complexity. We can conceptualize, we can abstract think, we can do all kinds of things, versus if we're allowing our amygdala, which is basically the fear center of the brain, to do all the heavy lifting, we're going to live a life that is risk-free and fun-free, low vibe, and no fun, no good, no nothing. You don't want this, do you? I don't think so. So that's what we're trying to get out of. So I've got a couple of lists for you today on a couple of things. First is how to raise your vibe. And the second part is how to practice high vibes on a daily basis. I'm going to promise you this, that if you do this and if you follow these lists, it's going to completely change your life. It did me. I swear to you, this was life changing. You want this in your life. All right. You ready to go with me on this? Number one is understand the connection between food and mood. When I was a sugar junkie, and I've shared this a lot on TikTok, I've shared to you about the whole L-glutamine thing. You know that if you're on TikTok, and if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go at Saving Dinner on TikTok and go check it out. But I was a full-on sugar junkie, and I would eat M&Ms until they sliced up the roof of my mouth. The roof of my mouth would bleed. And sometimes in a very sad, sad state of affairs, I would sit there crying my eyes out and stuffing my face with these M&Ms. I was that hooked on sugar. But finally got off. I did it the hardcore way. I held on with both hands and I just quit sugar. And after about 2 weeks, I was finally free of all that sugar. But can I just tell you something, though? This is the part that's important. I went back. And I got back into sugar. I got back into that whole thing. And I felt even worse than I did before. And you know, there's a problem being a fat nutritionist, y'all. Because when you are, people aren't going to be taking you seriously because you certainly don't look like you practice what you preach, do you? You know? Oh, healthy, healthy, healthy. What happened to you, Leanne? Well, I was in my closet eating all those M&Ms and making the top roof of my mouth bleed because I'm a closet sugar junkie. That's what the problem was. When I finally quit, and yes, I used L-glutamine to finally get there and get me completely off, it made all the difference in the world. But I noticed that when I was hooked on sugar, I was darker, I was low vibe, low vibe, and I was depressed. Because sugar has highs and lows. Sugar takes you on a ride. Sugar is just as addictive as cocaine and heroin. And it lights up the same areas of the brain if you did a brain scan. So that was the problem. And when I found out that my mood and food and my mood were absolutely 100% connected to each other, I started to change things up. And I invite you to do the same. And you know exactly what it is, right? You know what kind of food I'm talking about. The stuff that doesn't have labels. The stuff that if I held up an apple, you could tell me what it is, that one thing it is. Butterfly lovers asking me a certain dosage. There is no real dosage. You take a scoop and you put it in a little bowl like this. And when you put it on your hand, see, there's no dosage there. When you put it on your hand like this and on your gums and on your tongue, that's what knocks it out. It's just a touch of L-glutamine. Yes, you can put more in your smoothie. Yes, you can even take it in capsules. But if you're trying to knock out a craving, hear me on this, it's not going to knock it out instantly as it does when it goes right onto the tissue itself. You'll have to wait 10 or 15 minutes. And what happens in 10 or 15 minutes? Well, you're either holding on for dear life or you're caving. That's why we need instant relief sometimes. Am I right? You can find it at savingdinner.com/stop cravings, by the way, butterfly lover. Just letting you know. Food isn't political. It's not religious. It's not nosy. It doesn't give a hoot about you, as a matter of fact. Food has one job, and that is to it's got two jobs really, and it's to put nourishment into your body and also to pass on information so that your body knows what to do. And here's the thing, that when we're eating low vibe food, we're going to get low vibe results because your food really doesn't care what you think. It doesn't. It's going to do what it does. And every bite is either going to feed you heart, mind, and body and soul, or you know what it's going to do? It's going to drop you like you're hot, and you're going to find yourself just going down into this negative spiral. Am I right? Anybody? Of course. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Food does that. It makes us feel like crap, or it builds us up. And have you noticed there's no in between there? That's because food can't do that. It doesn't have the ability to do that. So understand this and keep this in mind. What's at the end of your fork has the ability to control your mood. It does. And food is never neutral. There's no such thing as neutral food. It's either for you or it's against you. Number 2, you got to start checking in with yourself. Have you noticed how we check in with everyone else? We do. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you good? I want to make sure you have everything you need. That's the truth. We check in with everyone. Do we check in with ourselves? We ignore ourselves. We don't even ask, does this feel good? Or we'll just notice suddenly we're just in a bunch of discomfort. But that's not enough. We've got to stop ignoring ourselves and start putting ourselves on the list. We're important. We've got to go onto the list. Is this serving me? Is this helping me out? Is this bringing me to the level of where I want to go? That's what it's asking. So we can go from this place of just this dull, something's wrong here, or go to this place of understanding and feeling vibrant simply by asking these questions. How am I feeling? Is this a good feeling? Is this how I want to feel? Or by saying, you know what, I feel pretty crummy right now. And I can trace it back to sitting in the parking lot, eating those M&Ms and crying my eyes out. I mean, easy, right? But this is important. This is part of the things that we need to do in order to lift ourselves up, in order to up-level the level of life that we want to lead. That's key. Number 3 is you got to check in with your results. Everything has a result. There's cause and effect. Everything. And ask yourself this, is what I'm doing creating the results that I want in my life? Is this creating the results that I want, or is it bringing me down? And, no judgment. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to do any of that. But if it's making you feel bad about yourself, then maybe you need to question it. Maybe you need to bring it in analytically and just look at it and just say, you know what? This just isn't working for me anymore. You need to have a moment that says, those M&Ms that crunched up and ripped up the roof of your mouth, maybe that's not serving you. Maybe that needs to go so that you can get the life that you want, so that you can get the vibrancy that you want and the energy that you want, and create a container that's strong and vibrant and capable, instead of always being held back by the pain and the inability to move and the inability to do a whole myriad of things. This is what happens when we're not questioning what it is that we're doing. And we also have to be checking in with our body. Our body has clues. Who knew, right? Am I right? Your body's going to give you clues. Are you have pain? Are you exhausted? Is your digestion off? Is your skin all broken out? Is your sleep terrible? Well, something's going on there, because your body's always going to tell you what's up. So the Cleveland Clinic, get this, they reported that meditation can help you release endorphins, which helps your muscles, your joints, all around relax and have less pain. Just by having a simple meditation practice, 10 minutes a day. It centers you. It brings you into this place of feeling really good. Mark Hyman, who is a celebrity doctor, everybody knows who he is, right? He says it's not about your lifespan, it's about your health span. And I have to agree with him so much, because who wants to live a life 80, 90, years old if you're going to feel like garbage all the time? We're here to live a life on purpose and for purpose. And therefore, we need to step it up in what it is that we're doing. If something's off, then we need to start asking questions. No judgment, just start asking the questions. And number 5 is surprise. This is a good one, and I've talked to you about this before. Check in with your home. What are you surrounded with? Is there a bunch of clutter everywhere? Did you make your bed this morning? When we have visual peace, we also have inner peace. I've noticed that. The two go hand in hand. And it doesn't take much. You don't have to be a perfectionist about this. You just have to do it excellently and make a decision about what you want to be surrounded by. That's high vibe. I want to be surrounded by beauty at all times. How do you feel when you're in the back, when you're walking along and you're walking through an alley and there's a bunch of stinky trash cans and, who knows what back there? You don't feel safe. Probably you're thinking, ooh, I just want to get out of here. But how do you feel when you're walking through a park and it's absolutely gloriously beautiful? Well, can we overlay this on our homes? What if your home is like a back alley and this beautiful park is the thing that you want and you don't have? You can have it. You can transform your dark alley into a beautiful home. You can paint the walls. You can hang up pictures. You can rearrange the furniture. So you can get a couple of new throw pillows, whatever. But this makes a difference too, because it's impactful and you can see it. And as you can see it, that transmutes to you and how you feel inside. You see how all this stuff works together? That's why we talk about in the Daily Dish that we are transforming our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Everything counts. So we have to look at this and we have to make a decision about what it is that we want. We want beauty in our lives. We need to be surrounded by beauty as well. That's so high vibe. Amber says, this is so true. The state of my home is 100% a reflection of my mindset at the time. Yep. The two go hand in hand. Interesting how that all works. But now I've got 10 things for you. This is all fuel to fuel up and to supercharge your high vibe. Are you ready? 10 quick and easy things. Number 1, go with high vibe food all the way. And guess what? Food all has its vibrations. And guess what's on the top? Whole good food like blueberries and, spinach and all kinds of things. They're way up there versus guess what's on the bottom? All of that fast food crap. I mean, it's so obvious, isn't it? Let's keep that food high vibe. Number 2 is gratitude. Did you know it's proven in research that they've shown in your brain, you cannot have anger and gratitude at the same time. You can't. So if we want to have gratitude, we just need to start counting our blessings. And if we start doing this every day, we'll notice that our hearts become more expansive and that we drop the pity parties oftentimes and that we start picking up a lot of really good high vibes. This is a big, important thing. The other thing that we need to look at is hydration. We need fiber and electrolytes in there as well. That's going to be I'm going to do a TikTok video on that, by the way. But here's the thing that you need to know. You can't just power down all that water all day long, because what are you going to be doing? You're just going to be peeing your brains out. I call it washing your kidneys. And the reason why is because you don't ever feel like it's really doing anything. But if you hydrate correctly and you do this and you're using fiber, you're helping to put hydration, because fiber holds water, by the way, hydration into your gut, which is massively important because then that fuels motility, meaning that food that you ate isn't just going to sit there putrefying. It's going to actually move through. That's what we want. You're also going to extrapolate all the nutrients from it. And then if you're using electrolytes, the electrolytes are going to make you feel better. It's full of minerals and it just helps to balance everything out in your body. 3 important components to hydration is the water, of course, and is the electrolytes and fiber. Keep these things in mind. And by the way, women should be getting about 35 to 50 milligrams of fiber a day. It's a lot. If you don't know where you are, go take a look at it, because the number one killer for women, colon cancer. We need our fiber. Number 6 is movement. Movement is so important. Jenny knows this, but just before the show, I had to get out of the house. I had spent an hour and 40 minutes on the phone with a cell phone company who will not be named, but they're all the same, right? They're terrible. And I just had to get out of the house. And I went and got the dog, and we went and had a nice nature walk around the lake. Let me tell you, that was food for my soul. I came back calm. I came back just enjoying, and had a lot of gratitude while I was taking that walk. Get out, move, and also enjoy nature. We can't be sitting all the time if we want to have a vibrant life. Number 7 is sleep, and do so in honoring of your circadian clock. Your circadian clock's everything. Did you know it doesn't matter where you live, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., that's when the work is done, all the healing work for your body. So get that going. Get that going, and make sure that you're in bed at a decent hour. Take advantage of that 4-hour window. We're getting asked on, well, here's what I use. This is the hot melt mix. I'm hoping we can maybe put a link in TikTok for you on where to find that. But this is hot melt mix. This is the best electrolytes, I think, because we don't put potassium in it. Because so many people have kidney issues, they can't handle the potassium. But if you would like to add potassium, you can add a little Morton light salt, which is 100% pure potassium. So that's how this works. But I love this. It's gentle. It's delicious, and it lasts a real long time. So that's what I like for electrolytes. Number 8 is to love wholeheartedly. I told you my Mary Morrissey story, didn't I? I was at the time dating Mark, and I said, I'm kind of keeping everything at arm's length. And she told me this. She put her hand on my arm and really grabbed my attention. And do you know what she said? She said, you need to live your life wholeheartedly and love wholeheartedly as well. Otherwise, what's the point? If you have everybody on notice, if you're keeping everything at arm's length, you'll never have a vibrant, loving, alive relationship. And that stuck with me. So I give this to you. If that's what you want in your life too, then you're going to have to give and risk. It's scary, but it's a big deal, because this is how you get that love that you're searching for. And that's high vibe, by the way. And number 10 is, of course, high vibe thoughts. We have habits of having these bad, negative thoughts. Bad, negative thoughts. We don't have to. All we have to do is start flipping them, noticing when they come up. When we notice, we can change things. And I notice that, when I start thinking something negative, and I just think, well, what would be, is this a vibrant way to think? Of course not. Absolutely, of course not, it isn't. We need more in our lives. We want to have the positive stuff. That doesn't mean to fake it. That doesn't mean to pretend. That just means that, is this serving me? Asking questions about the feelings and the thoughts and the thinking that you have in your head. We can change it if we choose to, because we have the power of that decision. That's the reason. Mrs. M says this is day 4 being sober with the help of L-glutamine, and she's working on her electrolyte balance. Can we give her some pinkies up, y'all? Pinkies up for Mrs. M. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so happy for you, Mrs. M. Thanks for joining us today too on TikTok. And by the way, for those of you on TikTok, our pinkies up. When we say pinkies up, that is an act of solidarity that we do with each other, a part of being a part of our community. So I really enjoy stirring the pot, so to speak, on that. And we were so pleased to support you and say, good job, because it's a lot, and you did it. You should be very proud. So those are the 10 things that I have for you about, changing out this low vibe stuff for the high vibe stuff, becoming aware, noticing things in your life, and understanding that things can be different if you decide to. I'm grateful you found me too, Mrs. M. I'm glad you're here. This is the whole thing. We can have what we want to have in our lives if we make the decision to do so. And it's a whole lot better to live high vibe than it is to live low vibe. Am I right? I know that you all feel this way. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate the fact that y'all show up here on Facebook, here on YouTube, and here on TikTok. It means everything to me. And you will see me here Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, every single day, or right around there, 1 p.m. or whatever. But, go ahead and share this video if this made sense to you, if it's something that you feel other people would benefit from, because we want to make a difference in this world. We are a community that stand together, and we are a community that are here on purpose and for purpose, right? Let's do this. Peace be with you. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.